All right, guys, welcome to the second video in Module 1, where we're talking about unlocking success as a professional consultant. Once this is completed, you will have an expert level understanding of the mental game that is required for you to be a long-term successful entrepreneur. A quick overview of the whole process. Module 1, this is where we are right now. It's about unlocking success. Module 2, finding your niche. Module 3, talking to your ideal client profile. Module 4, craft your offer. Oh boy, it's getting good. Module 5, launching and generating leads and selling your service. Module 6 is scale. Module 7 is the future, building the business of your dreams. Now, we've already covered the first part, was the introduction and overview. What we're going to cover in this video is how to fail. This is the inversion secret of the wealthiest investor in history. This is what inversion means. Instead of thinking about how to achieve something, inversion means you consider for a moment how to prevent it and then do the opposite of that. Now, this came from Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger is business partners with Warren Buffett. I think Charlie Munger has a $2.5-ish billion net worth. Warren Buffett is well over 100 billion. And when they go in and they buy businesses, they think about this. Imagine buying Coca-Cola. Rather than Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger sitting down saying, how do we get Coca-Cola to double in revenue? They would say something like this: if we wanted to guarantee that Coca-Cola did not double in revenue, what would we do to guarantee that? They would make a list, and then they would invert it. One time at an annual shareholders meeting, Charlie Munger said, inversion is a little bit like this. Imagine someone tells you where you're going to die, and then you just never go to that place. People laugh, but it was a phenomenal piece of advice. Like, if you tell me where I'm going to die geographically, I'll just make sure I never go there, and therefore I will never die. So here's a quick example. Let's say you want to get in shape. Let's discuss how to prevent that from ever happening. We want to guarantee we never get in shape ever. First, we got to eat some bad foods. The more sugar, the better. This is a basic example, but I'm giving you the building blocks for a second. Second, never go to the gym, like ever. We do not want to get in shape. We want to prevent ourselves from ever getting in shape. So don't go to the gym ever. Third, try not to sleep. Sleep is actually healthy. We want to avoid that. No sleep. We don't want to get in shape. We want our bodies to chronically shut down. So eat bad foods, never go to the gym, try not to sleep. Let's invert it. If we invert those three things, what we get is, number 1, eat healthy foods and avoid sugar. Number 2, spend time in the gym getting proper exercise. And number 3, sleep a full 7 to 8 hours a night. Now, this is laughably simple. And you might even be like, yo, why am I listening to a course telling me how to get in shape? I'm not teaching you how to get in shape. I'm teaching you how to think. And if you learn how to think for a minute, then as a default, you will know the decisions to make. Another example you could apply to your children. Let's say you want to have a great relationship with your kids. Okay, invert it for a second. Let's say we want to block great relationships with our children. Number 1, never talk to them. Number 2, maybe make sure that you say one thing and do another. Say you'll wake them up, then don't wake them up. Say you'll take them for a date night, then don't go for a date night. Number 3, spend all your time when you're around in a different room or on your phone. Just try to be away from them. Well, we invert that, and we get a pretty good blueprint for how to be an exceptional parent or have a great relationship with our kids. So we're going to apply this inversion to business today, specifically to your business as you go through this process and this product with us. But first, I'm going to take you through a couple of bottlenecks and obstacles, and then we are going to invert, okay? So here we go. Bottlenecks and obstacles. Here's one of the first bottlenecks, is focusing on non-essential. Let me tell you this. Over the next 90 days, there are 4 things that matter, and only 4. Number 1, your offer, which we'll get to. Number 2, your content, which we will get to. Number 3, your conversations, which are generated from your content. And number 4, your closes. What's a close? A close is when you have a conversation because someone's seen your content and your offer is so good and so relevant, they're like, hey, I'd like to give you money. Here's $2,000, or here's $5,000, or here's $20,000, or whatever it is that you're pricing, which will help you price it and put together the right offer. Don't focus on things that don't fit inside of these 4 main categories. Number 2, here's a bottleneck: overthinking and indecision. If you are OCD like I am, this is a challenge. And this was a challenge for me at the beginning. In fact, sometimes it still is. You can ask my team. They're like, yo, Taylor, would you just make your mind up on this? Money loves speed. Perfectionists, go ahead and be warned right now. The best time to move forward is before you feel ready to move forward. Number 3, talking about bottlenecks, is comparing your first inning to their 9th inning. Don't be going up on the internet or inside of any of our groups and being like, well, this person has way more and I must suck. No, they may be in the 8th inning or the 7th inning. In fact, The pictures and examples that I showed you in the previous video of people who are crushing it, some of those people have been with our organization for years. They've been working on their business for years. Don't compare yourself in your first inning to their ninth inning. Everyone starts at the same place. You will look back one day, maybe in a year, maybe in 5 years, and if you don't choose to enjoy this process, you will wish that you could come back to right now, where everything is new and exciting and there's opportunity and there's some fear, but there's excitement and there's nerve. You're going to wish you enjoyed it. So just enjoy it now. Nothing will replace the fundamentals. There is no secret. If they're in the ninth inning, it just means they've been doing things longer. Here's the next one, negativity. For real, I'm being serious with you right now. Energy is an important ingredient to your success. In our team, we have this as a core value. It's one of our principles. We have our team read it every day. It says this: positive attitude and positive spirit at all times. All times. There's no room for negativity. There's enough of that garbage in the world anyways. Keep your spirit light. Keep your attitude positive. Here's another bottleneck, is tackling too much all at once. Like I said, 4 things matter: your offer, your content, your conversations, and your clients. Here's another bottleneck: rushing. Do not overwork yourself. Sometimes clients will come in and they'll be like, yo, I'm going to be your best student ever. I'm going to be your best client ever. And they'll spend like the first 9 days, 15 hours a day going through stuff, trying to build it out. You can't rush the process. The process doesn't work that way. It's better for you to be slow and steady. The tortoise, not the hare. Slow and steady. Don't overwork yourself in these first couple of weeks. Focus on getting solid routines and habits in place. Go through a little bit of the curriculum at a time. I know you're excited. I'm excited as well. But I promise you this: you will get further if you can do a little bit for a long time than if you just do a lot for a short amount of time. Skipping parts of the training. Listen, we have worked with thousands of students. I've had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of customers. I know what I'm doing. I promise you, we have built this over and over again. In fact, when we come up with something new, we pull up the product, we shoot it, and we put it, the newest version, back online. I promise you, this is the latest version of building a consulting firm on the internet. So I can teach you, I can show you, but don't skip around. Go through this as it's designed. Go through the whole thing. And the last is distraction. This is the sneakiest form of resistance ever. It's distraction. Someone dies, someone gets in a car wreck, someone gets sick, friends start acting crazy and dumb. You're studying too many people at the same time. You got all these books and podcasts. Listen, just decide right now you're going to focus. Just give me some focus for the next 90 days. That's all I ask for. Focus on the 4 main things over the next 90 days. If you can do that, you'll turn your life around. You'll never be the same. Just lock in. This is not easy. Focus is difficult. Distraction is the easy way out. Distraction is what we want to do, but it's resistance. Focus in. If it were easy to focus, everybody would be doing it, but it's difficult. And you will earn your stripes through the things you say no to, because you have chosen to pursue this path just for 90 days. Let's practice some inversion now. Okay, let's take the inversion principles, and I want to give you the recipe for how to fail with this program. If you said, Taylor, how do I guarantee that I just wasted all my money without getting any results? Here's how to do it. And then we're going to invert this. Number 1, if it doesn't make logical sense to you, just choose not to do it. Doesn't make sense to me. You didn't explain it good enough. I'm not just going to do it. Well, listen, most of what we're teaching you will not make logical sense at first. If it did, you'd have already figured it out. You would already be doing it. If it made sense for you, when we get into the next video, it's going to be real good, because I want to talk about the success path and the success plan and how to do it, the winning formula. And there are going to be things in there where you're like, I don't want to do that. Okay, tough. Feel it right there, the resistance. It's not always going to make logical sense. If it made logical sense and you understood the whole thing, you'd have already figured it out. Go with the process. Give me 90 days. Here's another way we can guarantee that you will fail. You have one bad week or one bad month and you just disappear. You're just like, deuces, my ego can't handle it anymore. I'm not going to plug back in. I'm not going to try again. I had a bad week. I'm out. Look, if you want to let yourself justify and make excuses for why you gave up on yourself, that's you. But I know that for me, my future was more important than my own ego. My future and the future that my family had was more important than me justifying why I gave up. So I decided to go again and again and again. Don't disappear. Stay in. Keep moving forward. Here's another way to guarantee to fail. Just start taking advice from people who aren't anywhere close to where you want to be. I guarantee you one day you're going to make a post and you are going to publish something online, because we're going to publish every day. We're going to put value out to our market. And somebody that you used to go to college with or something is going to be like, this is dumb. That don't make any sense. Why are you just fishing for business? And you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to take advice from someone who is not where you want to be, or are you going to ignore them because you are modeling people that you look up to? Here's the biggest failure of all. I want you to stop for a minute, lean into this. This is the biggest failure of them all, is believing that failure exists in the first place. Let me explain what I mean by this. Everything from here on out, make a decision right now. Whatever the date is that you're reading or watching this or listening to this, today is the day. From here on out, everything forward, it's not a failure. It's a learning lesson. You're going to take this failure and you're going to collect data from it. You're not going to be penalized for it. You're not going to let it touch your identity. You're going to gather data from it and learn from it. In reality, and this is real talk, the longer it takes you, the more resilient you become. This is how you become a weapon. This is how you become resilient and perseverant. Your determination and your staying power is built through perseverance, and success is the byproduct of doing. And the harder it gets, the bigger success is at the end. Let me tell you a quick story, because I think it'll be meaningful to you, especially as we go through the first bit of training and curriculum here. Because what I want to do is, before we get into the market stuff, and before we get into like total addressable market and offers and all the sexy stuff, I want to make sure your mind is programmed to receive all of the increase that we're shooting for. So here's a quick story. A group of scientists one time, they set out to create the first biome in a desert. And this was what it was, is they put a big plastic covering and made like a biodome in the desert. The goal was to see if they could create a lush, perfect Garden of Eden in the middle of a dry place where nothing else had been able to grow. Everything went well at first until the trees kept uprooting and falling over, always at the same height, always around the same time. And these scientists tried again and again, and they could not figure it out. They repeated it several times, and every single time, at the same height, the trees just fell out of the ground. They just fell over. They were losing their minds until someone had an idea. They said, there's no wind. What's different about being in a biodome versus being in the middle of the elements? There's no wind. And what they discovered is that wind is an essential part of a tree's development. When it blows against the young tree, it forces the roots to grow down and deep and wide to counter the force of the wind. Listen to this. The trees could not grow taller than their root systems had been trained to grow. What does this mean for you? It means to develop the life and business you want, you must change the way you view resistance. It is a good thing when you have resistance and failure and problems and obstacles. These develop good qualities. They help you grow good root systems, help you grow tall and stand the test of time. Don't give up when it gets difficult. Keep pushing it. All right, we've covered this. This will be a good idea for you to go back and read through, watch through again. Like I said, our goal is not to waste hours and hours of your time. We make these things quick and to the point, and we are rolling through it. That's the way that we want to operate. And it's the same urgency I want you to have in your business as you begin to go through this and fill out the homework. Look, let's just slam through it. Let's make sure that we are being effective and efficient and expedite this process. As a reminder, here's an overview of the whole process. You're in Module 1 right now. You've got 2 more videos until we're done with Module 1. I'll see you in the next training.